The Swedish health minister, Elisabet Lann, has unexpectedly found herself not only at the center of political attention, but also at the heart of an international conversation about health, leadership, and human vulnerability, after a shocking incident during a live press conference left audiences stunned. The moment, which has since gone viral and sparked widespread concern, unfolded in front of flashing cameras and rolling live streams, capturing in real time the fragility of even the most powerful figures in public life. What was supposed to be a routine press conference quickly turned into a dramatic scene that highlighted how unpredictable and deeply human the pressures of public office can be. The video circulating online shows the newly appointed health minister standing quietly beside Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson and other officials as another speaker addressed the media. At first glance, she seemed composed, perhaps even slightly distracted, the way people often are when standing on stage under bright lights and waiting for their turn to speak. But as the seconds ticked by, the atmosphere in the room shifted. Lann's posture grew less steady, her expression less focused, until suddenly and without warning, she began to lean forward, slowly but unmistakably, losing control of her body. In an instant, she collapsed onto the stage, her fall powerful, enough to topple the translucent podium in front of her, the sound echoing sharply through the hushed room. The reaction from those around her was immediate. Prime Minister Kristersson, visibly shocked, rushed forward with other members of the government and security personnel. Members of the press, caught between their duty to report and their instinct to help, looked on in alarm. The tension was palpable as Lann lay motionless for several moments, apparently unconscious. In that brief silence, the weight of the incident registered fully. The person tasked with overseeing the health of an entire nation had just collapsed in public, and the symbolism was almost too stark to ignore. Cameras continued to roll, recording every second of what would soon be replayed millions of times across television broadcasts, social media platforms, and international news outlets. According to local Swedish reports, Lann received immediate attention from government security and medical staff present at the venue. Their quick response helped stabilize her, and after what must have been a frightening ordeal, she eventually managed to return to the stage. Her attempt to reassure the audience was striking in its simplicity. She explained that her fainting spell was due to a sudden drop in blood sugar. Delivered with a kind of understated Scandinavian calm, her explanation was meant to diffuse alarm. Yet the image of her collapse lingered far more powerfully than her words, raising questions not just about her personal health, but also about the enormous pressures faced by those who step into roles of national leadership. Elisabet Lann's sudden rise to such a high-profile position had already placed her under an intense spotlight. Just days earlier, she had been appointed as Sweden's new health minister, following the resignation of her predecessor, Acko Ankarberg Johansson. That alone would have been enough to make her a subject of scrutiny, as political transitions often are. But now the circumstances of her first week in office have made her a household name overnight. In a matter of minutes, she transformed from a relatively new figure in the broader Swedish political landscape to a central topic of global discussion, her image and name circulating far beyond her country's borders. For many observers, the incident touched on something deeper than just a passing medical concern. Leadership, particularly in the realm of health, carries a symbolic weight. A health minister is expected to embody strength, stability, and the assurance that the well-being of the nation is in capable hands. To see such a figure collapse on stage, in front of cameras and colleagues, felt unsettling on multiple levels. Was this simply a personal and harmless medical episode, as she herself suggested, or could it point to a larger issue? Was it exhaustion, stress, or perhaps the overwhelming pressure of stepping into a critical role at a critical moment? These questions quickly rippled through media commentary and public conversations. The Swedish press, known for its relatively measured tone compared to the sensationalism of some international outlets, reported the incident with restraint, but could not avoid highlighting the dramatic visuals. Meanwhile, on social media platforms such as Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, the footage was clipped, reposted, and dissected endlessly. Memes appeared alongside genuine messages of concern, demonstrating the dual nature of digital culture where empathy and entertainment often collide in uncomfortable ways. Some users expressed worry about the minister's health, wishing her recovery and encouraging her to rest. Others, less charitable, seized the moment to critique the government or to make jokes about Sweden's political system. Regardless of intention, the sheer volume of attention underscored how quickly a single human moment can dominate the global news cycle in the age of viral video. Medical professionals interviewed by various outlets offered their own cautious interpretations. A sudden drop in blood sugar, or hypoglycemia, is indeed a common cause of fainting. It can happen to anyone, particularly under conditions of stress, prolonged standing, or inadequate food intake. Still, the fact that this occurred in such a public and high-stakes setting drew inevitable speculation about whether Lann was pushing herself too hard in her new role. The symbolism of a health minister fainting so soon after taking office is not lost on the public, even if the medical explanation is benign. It forces people to confront the paradox of health leadership, that those who are responsible for safeguarding the nation's health are themselves vulnerable human beings, prone to the same frailties as the citizens they serve. The political implications of the incident cannot be ignored either. Sweden, like many nations, faces complex health challenges in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. Public trust in institutions, debates over healthcare funding, and the ongoing strain on medical infrastructure have all been points of contention in recent years. Into this environment steps Elisabet Lann, tasked with navigating policies that will shape the country's approach to health in the coming years. Her very first public moment as health minister now carries the weight of this dramatic collapse, a moment that may overshadow her policy initiatives for some time. Political opponents may use it as a talking point, while supporters may frame it as a testament to her resilience, highlighting the fact that she returned to the stage rather than retreating from the public eye. For Lann herself, the personal impact of this incident must be immense. Imagine stepping into a role of extraordinary responsibility, already facing the pressure of succeeding a predecessor who resigned under scrutiny, and then experiencing a fainting spell in front of colleagues, the press, and millions of viewers. It is the kind of moment that would test the confidence of even the most seasoned politicians. Yet her decision to return and explain what happened, rather than avoiding the cameras, suggests a certain courage and determination to project steadiness, even in the face of personal vulnerability. History is filled with moments where the health of political leaders has shaped public perception and, in some cases, even the trajectory of nations. From U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who navigated his presidency while managing the effects of polio, to Winston Churchill, who concealed health concerns during World War II, leaders have always balanced the demands of office with the realities of their own physical limits. In modern times, however, the visibility of such incidents is amplified exponentially by media technology. What might once have been a brief newspaper report is now a viral video replayed endlessly, scrutinized from every possible angle. For Lann, this reality means that her collapse is not just a fleeting incident, but a defining moment early in her career as health minister.